Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London, and today I'm looking at a book which comes to us from Sweet Maxwell and Thomson Reuters. This one is a book which will be known to many people. It's called Keating on Offshore Construction and Marine Engineering Contracts. It's now a second edition, and the general editor is Adam Constable, Queen's Counsel. Elizabeth was the lead writer on this review, and we've got the title for the review, The Challenges of Construction in the Cruel Sea. And I think that's quite a useful indication of what this book is really about. Let's have a look at it first of all. There it is, red cover, hardback. It's part of British shipping laws again, that library. There's nothing on the back. If we go to the back of the book, it's very much the standard style of Thomson Reuters and Sweet and Maxwell. The index is by paragraph numbering at the back. About 700 pages, the book in total. It's quite a detailed index actually at the back, and there's a legal taxonomy explaining how the index actually works. Now if we go to the front of the book, there's the front page there. Then there's another one with a bit more detail on it. Then you've got the blurb from Sweet and Maxwell. Then you've got the contributors, of which there are a large number, because Adam Constable QC is actually the general editor, so he's relied on a lot of people, some of whom you will know, who have given a lot of work to it. The contributors are on 2 pages. I can't mention more by name, I'll just show you the names there and there. And then there's a foreword to the second edition, always worth reading because you get an idea of what's changed in recent years. And then after that you've got a preface from the author or the editor. There are some acknowledgements, and then we get to the table of contents. Quite a decent detailed table of contents there, and we're running all the way through. And again you can see there, and then you've got appendices, and there are 7 appendices after the 11 chapters which you can see. And then a table of cases, nice sort of cases of course, as usual. Then the table of statutes, and then you get into the work itself. Chapter 1, which is the nature of an offshore construction contract. So you get a nice definition at the beginning and an introduction. You've got the paragraph numbering at the sides, and you've got a lot of footnoting. Then opening it in the middle, you can see how the work develops. It's a very detailed work, highly detailed, and extremely useful for those involved in this particular area of British shipping law. So what do we say about the book? We say this: for lawyers looking for a truly challenging and multifaceted area of law, this is it. Offshore construction and engineering contracts. Really tough work, putting it bluntly. Those already embroiled then in the complexities of this subject will be more than pleased, indeed relieved, we suggest, to know that Sweet Maxwell and Thomson Reuters have published a new second edition of this now well-established text. It's a definitive work, without any doubt, radically updated in response to a number of recent developments. 2 in particular, as Nicholas Hamblen and Vivian Ramsey point out in the foreword. One is in the oil prices crash, and the second is the demand for renewable energy, which has certainly increased the number of wind farms, many of them offshore, again constructed and so forth. And of course this is not something that's going to go away, it's going to continue as we do see the way in which we obtain and use energy develop over this century. And it appears that exploration and drilling in a number of areas have now become uneconomic. You can think of many, in fact, without naming them, leaving oil companies with the problems of termination, hire charge disputes, dismantling, decommissioning, removing, and so forth. Just think mines, think of the Shetland Basin and so forth, with all the resulting contractual problems. Also explained in some detail are the challenges of the sea, not mentioning its frequent fury and unpredictability, which obviously impact on anything constructed or deconstructed offshore. Of course, offshore construction then is a discipline which links traditional onshore construction with shipbuilding. And there is therefore an overlap, as the editors point out, between the commercial courts and the technology and construction courts, now of course both based in London at the Rolls building. And I must point out to those who haven't been there, it's nice to see a very modern building with lots of computers in it, because it's a far cry from what we used to have in the past. And the only thing is, it hasn't got a canteen, but that's beside the point. So let's not forget about those wind farms whilst we're at it. You may or may not approve of them as you drive by, but those monstrous whirling turbines pose particular problems in construction, particularly their foundations, especially offshore. And of course we've seen them in the sea, and you just have to go up to look at the North Sea. The other side, well in fact Middlesbrough and that area going north, you see a whole lot of it. The book discusses, for instance, the case in 2015 of MT Holgard, which involved certain design obligations in offshore wind farms, and elaborates on the Supreme Court's decision in the matter, which of course will be of great benefit because of the authoritative information and view it gives. This of course is only one example of the wealth of new material contained in this edition, including new standard forms, notably the NEC, the New Engineering Contract, which in its new approach stresses such issues as the management of risks. Also in the new second edition are commentaries on other major developments in general law relating to key topics such as liquidated damages, claims for interest, issues relating to payment and transfer of title, and much more, all of which this book, almost 800 pages in fact, covers with commendable clarity. A reference material is there of course as well, and that includes the tables of cases and statutes, as well as extensive footnoting, which you've seen already throughout, and 7 appendices. So let me conclude by saying, for practitioners as well as academics wishing to enhance their understanding of this highly specialised yet broad-based area of law, this meticulously updated edition of Keating is a helpful, indeed an essential acquisition for those involved in British shipping law. And the date of publication is cited as at the 20th of November 2018. Here's the book again. There's the front, there's the spine, you can see British shipping laws mentioned there, the library. Just opening it in the middle again, let's find something interesting. Here we are. The right to change the work. Change. You can see a lot of information there. Paragraph numbering again, both sides, and the footnoting. And of course it does have, here we go, concurrent delay, a big one. The time for delivery and completion, always critical in many, many contracts, as one knows. And of course you see the appendices there. The appendices actually make up a large part of the book. You can see they start there, and you can see from the thickness that there's a very large amount there. I'm very pleased with this volume. I found it very interesting to look at. I haven't really specialised in this area since I did my bar exams, especially this particular area, but from a general point of view I found it very interesting indeed. Thank you all very much indeed for what you've done in producing the new edition so quickly, and we're very grateful to you for all the work you've put in. Thank you. Bye bye.